Drive home with Maggie and Perloff. Afternoons 3 to 6 on WSKO Syracuse, a Cumulus media station. The voice of the Central New York sports fan, The Score, 1260. Welcome to your home for local sports in Syracuse. Outside the Box Score with Mark Rowlands starts right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. We've got Braylon, we've got Josh, we've got a full house here in the studio today on what is a big day if you are a Syracuse Athletics fan. This is one of the biggest days of the year.
Yeah, I love it.
We've got Syracuse, we've got Georgetown, live from Washington, D.C. in a half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing like an 11:30 tip. I love morning basketball.
It just makes everyone have to tune in. If you want to watch college basketball today, football's dead.
Yep.
And it's the first game of the day.
Well, football isn't dead because we're going to talk about that too.
Well, yeah.
America's game. We've got Army-Navy.
Sorry.
We've got this day couldn't get better for me. It's two of my 5 favorite sporting events of the year today. SU Georgetown in the Army-Navy game. Some people, I've heard people say, it's too much pomp and circumstance. No, I love everything about the Army-Navy game.
As a Patriot, I apologize. I forgot. How could I? I mean, they had Brent Musburger last night. I knew him. I knew he was doing it.
Yeah.
He was on SmackDown. He called a match.
Wait, really?
They had Brent Musburger out for calling a match.
I didn't even realize Brent was doing the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. I love me some Musburger.
Well,
he's the best. We do have Pat in the chat saying, Josh, respect our brave men and women of the armed forces.
It was Brad Nessler, by the way. I'm an idiot.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, why
they
brought Musburger out of retirement?
My
bad. Brad Nessler. That makes sense.
He's done him for 20 years.
Yeah, I was.
My bad, bro.
Yeah,
love Brett. Stick it, Pat. I heard you.
shout out Brent Musburger. Okay, so I paraphrased for Pat because I said, respect our brave men and women. And the actual message said, respect our brave men. And I said that. And then Pat goes, I didn't say women. I'm trying to help you out here, pal.
Just a brain fart, I thought, Pat.
Yeah, Lord knows. Now we're just talking broadcasters and chat now, too. Jim saying, Ness is great, but he brings up Vern. Gotta love Vern. When they, on that, for the SEC championship game.
Yep.
The last SEC game on CBS, which shame.
Shame.
I know it's going to ESPN and it's going to be a whole thing. The SEC belongs on CBS. This is my boomer broadcast take of the day.
One of the best theme songs. The SEC on CBS.
Unbelievable theme song. And just when you had Vern in the booth and then he hands it off to Nessler and that the last video they did is like a tribute to the SEC on CBS where it starts with Vern narrating the video and then he hands it off to Nessler just like he did the play-by-play. Oh my God. I almost cried.
Getting goosebumps right now.
The goosebumps were unbelievable. But the SEC just belongs on CBS.
Yes.
And we got a great game for the last SEC on CBS game. I mean, the SEC champion with Bama winning. You were on it.
Bama,
you were on it. I was on Louisville. That did not happen. They looked terrible in that game.
Hey, FSU's got a great defense. They were up.
They do have a great defense, but Louisville's offense was just pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, that's a conversation for another day. But two of my 5 favorite sporting events of the year: SU Georgetown, the Army-Navy game. It's a great day to be a sports fan. Not even just a Syracuse sports fan, because Syracuse Georgetown is a game that for many years was loved by all.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Big East basketball, which I know a lot of people around here are, I'm a Big East junkie.
Oh, yeah.
Saturdays, it's college football for a lot of people, and I
FS1.
understand that.
Give me FS1.
Give me the 11:30, the noon tip on FS1, DePaul versus Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I watch it every week. I love it. I can't get enough of the Big East basketball on Fox.
Surely my favorite conference.
You're lucky where your team is still in it.
That's right.
I just have to long for the days of when my favorite basketball team was in the Big East. But we've got that, so we're going to break all that down. We do have, obviously, Syracuse fans in Braylon and I, and we do have a Georgetown fan. So, we are going to get your opinion on this Hoyas team led by Ed Cooley. Two new head coaches going up against each other for the first time in this legendary matchup. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk Army-Navy. We've got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk SU football. We've got so many recruits visiting campus this weekend. Wow. I mean, 4 stars, a 5-star. We're going to get into all of that. A lot of things to talk about in the world of sports, and phone calls open entirety of the show. I know I got a text from a friend of mine. He's going to call in live from the parking lot at Gillette Stadium, go into the Army-Navy game. It's Pat's brother. It's Tommy. So I know Tom from the Valley, as he likes to be called, will be calling in from Gillette Stadium. Jim asked, does Georgetown still suck? What is this? Does Georgetown still suck if they suck but have beaten SU the last 2 times at Georgetown? Yes, of course they still suck. It is 11:06 a.m. and Georgetown still sucks. We all know this. I got to change the background on my phone again. I do it every year for the SU Georgetown game where it was from Otto's Army a couple years ago. It says it's and then a blank space. And you make it the background on your phone, and in the blank space goes the time. So it's 11:06 a.m. and then underneath it says, and Georgetown still sucks. Jim asked, what does that make Syracuse then? Still, they can both suck.
Jim, today is a great day for the rivalry.
It is.
Because it should start a new era in the rivalry. Both coaches should be there for a while. Yeah. And I think in the past years, Syracuse has been bad. Georgetown's been even worse. But they
a lot worse.
Well, they won a big. When's the last time the Syracuse won a conference championship or conference tournament?
When we were in the Big East.
That's right.
Yes, Georgetown did have that miracle run to win the Big East when they were like 6 games below 500. They were terrible.
What a run!
They went on one run.
That was the best. That was the best moment of Pat's career, and it was great.
Yeah.
And then they lose in the first round of the tournament, like normal. It doesn't matter if they're a 2 seed or a 9 seed. They will lose in the first round.
They will lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Is there seriously? And I know you went to the game at the Dome last year.
Yep.
And I know the atmosphere wasn't quite what you were expecting.
Yeah, it just wasn't as angry
as
I wanted to. And I think both schools need to do a better job. Syracuse does a great job.
Yeah, Syracuse very much promotes
you
it.
tour the school. Like I went to the school. You go there, and it's Georgetown hate this. You hate Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
Georgetown sucks. We're living in their head rent free. Georgetown is too many uppity businessmen who could not care enough about any sport, let alone this basketball team from New York that they're not even in our conference. Georgetown sucks. They just don't care. I got to bring back some hatred. Pat at least cared. Ewing was like, this is the biggest game on our schedule.
Ewing hates Syracuse so much. And as bad as I thought he was as a head coach, which he was terrible.
Wasn't great. I love Pat. Not great.
Yeah. No disrespect to Pat Ewing at all. Just wasn't a great fit as a head coach.
Not everybody can coach.
Yeah, not everybody can coach. One of the greatest basketball players the world has ever seen. Arguably the greatest basketball player in the history of the Big East when he was at Georgetown.
Yeah. He's
very,
up there.
very much in that conversation. Just wasn't a great coach. He hates Syracuse because he should.
Yeah.
Like, and as much as I love Ed Cooley as a coach, why would Ed Cooley care about this?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously the whole reason he came here, his daughter's a Georgetown student. Hopefully he gets some of it, and obviously being in the Big East, he understands the rivalry a little bit, but I need both schools to care as much as they used to, and I don't think Georgetown's doing their part right now.
No, they certainly are not, and we do have someone calling in to talk SU Georgetown. It's take a guess who it is, Josh.
It's Pat Burke.
This is Pat. How we doing, Pat?
How we doing?
Doing great. You said you want to talk a little SU Georgetown. I'm sure you're going to talk about America's game as well, being the patriot that you are. So
I love the truth.
there's no doubt in my mind that Pepper
I
loves the
truth,
troops.
Mark.
Absolutely
I love
loves
the
them.
truth.
So
You gotta bring 'em home.
what do you want to talk about, buddy?
Well, you were talking about how, Syracuse Georgetown just doesn't mean the same thing anymore. And being in the industry that I work in, I work with a lot of people who are from DC, like went to
This
Georgetown,
is true.
whatever. They don't even know they don't even know what this game is anymore.
Yeah.
I go and I'm like, oh yeah, Syracuse Georgetown. They're like, what are you talking about? It drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm. I know
This game used to mean something.
Well, I know you feel similar to me in that to you this game does still mean something. To me, SU Georgetown will always mean something, and I'm pretty sure you're in the same boat as me.
No, for sure. It's just like it isn't as fun anymore. It's like I think the last good Syracuse Georgetown game was I think my sophomore year at Syracuse when Tyus Battle hit the buzzer beater in the dome to beat them. When Patrick Ewing was still the coach. By the way, Patrick Ewing's a fraud. He sucked as a coach.
Yes.
Absolutely sucked.
We've covered that, Pat.
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
But you know what? But it's like Georgetown, for as good of a basketball program it is, put way too much stock in the Thompson family, and then that ruined their program. And it's
all right,
ridiculous.
Way too much
Scott
stock.
Dawson Jr. stunk.
Well,
The JT3?
yeah, the third.
I mean, okay. The problem with Georgetown in his era was just national tournament success. They dominated the Big East still a lot.
They
had
did,
a lot of high-ranking seeds. It's just they lost in the first round as a 2 seed a lot and as a 4 seed a lot. I mean, they made tournaments. They just couldn't win anything, which if you want to argue that makes him bad, that's fine. Winning your conference is part of the battle, right? I mean, just not finishing the main goal, which obviously that's the goal for, 358 teams. So.
Right. The Big East actually should be studied now because all the really big programs, not all the really big programs. I guess Villanova's a very big program, but they're not a very big school.
Yeah.
It's like they've completely reinvented themselves and become still like a really good basketball conference. Like Big East is great basketball.
I'd argue it's still could be considered the best conference in college basketball.
UConn and Marquette are
I wouldn't.
top 10,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, UConn, Marquette. Nova is obviously they're a little down since Jay Wright retired, but still always going to be a problem. You have great teams that play in the Big East.
I would like to be on the record right now and saying Marquette is a Final Four team this year. The team rocks.
Oh yeah, Marquette's really good.
The Golden Eagles.
Did you guys watch them run Texas off the floor the other night?
Oh yeah,
Oh my God! So they've run Kansas off the floor already. By the way, Hunter Dickinson stinks. That's I can get into that too, but Hunter Dickinson stinks. I've watched a lot of college basketball so far. It's cool. He can rebound. He can shoot a little bit, but he cannot move. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, very slow, man.
Marquette can shoot. Marquette can pass. Marquette can rebound. Marquette's big. Marquette's really good. UConn's awesome too, but UConn won the national championship last year. That's not a hot take to say they're going to be good again. So,
yeah.
I know, but the Big East is awesome.
A lot of great coaches in the Big East too.
Outside
Cooley at Providence was great.
Yeah, Cooley's a great coach. Hurley, Shaka, yeah.
The guy who I hate from UConn, who's just annoying. He's like Nick Sirianni of the college basketball. He stinks.
I like him. Bobby Hurley?
Yeah, that's Hurley.
That is Hurley?
Yeah, that's Bobby Hurley.
Yeah.
Well, because his brother
Bobby
also coaches. Bobby.
Is he still at Arizona State?
Yeah, Bobby is at Arizona State. I think it's Dan at UConn.
Yeah.
It's Dan Hurley. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the Hurley brothers. Yeah, no, he's a great coach too. There's great coaches in the Big East still. That UConn program, he completely transformed that UConn program.
He did, absolutely. They were kind of
Ollie left them in tough shape.
Yeah, they were kind of bad for a couple of years there under Ollie, and
they were really bad.
Yeah, and Hurley really did turn them around.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's back when the last couple of years in the Big East, they would have think pieces about oh my God, Syracuse Georgetown. This is what this means. Manly Fieldhouse is now closed. Yada yada yada. And it's just you just don't have that same juice anymore. And I feel like it's kind of forced at this point. And it's how much longer are we going to be able to play this game and people still care about it? You know what I mean? Because look, we are the last class of people, last generation of kids who still grew up with it.
That's what I was about to say. I hate to say, I think it dies with us.
It might be. It might.
Unless, there's another conference change, unless Georgetown would never come to the ACC. It's if Syracuse ended up back in the Big East somehow.
Which would be a good idea, I think.
I agree that it would be a good idea. The problem is Big East doesn't have football.
Yeah.
There's no football Big East anymore.
Could they Notre Dame?
About to implode, so.
ACC for football and
It-
Big East for basketball?
Which is what we should have done the entire time. That was always my thing is, join the ACC for football, keep us in the Big East for basketball.
Or every other sport.
Or
as
every
long as-
other sport. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But if you want to join the ACC for football, that's fine. But I always thought that we should have stayed in the Big East, at least for basketball.
My hot take is that I think with conference realignment with Stanford joining the ACC, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stanford joined the ACC for basketball too, correct?
Every sport, yes. They're going to be a
Okay,
full-blown
yeah,
member of
so-
the ACC. Stanford, Cal, and SMU.
The Atlantic Coast
That's
Conference.
a program. That's a
Instead.
program that's going to absolutely take off because it's like just think about the recruiting base they have in California versus like what we have here.
Mhm.
It's like yes, New York has great basketball, but like nothing compares to like what basketball is in California. And it's like I know Stanford, you know, the admissions requirements are pretty rigorous, whatever, but it's like, you know, I don't know. You're just like that's just I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Stanford joining the ACC like that, but it's like that's an opportunity for them to just like completely take off this program.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be good in the ACC,
Yeah.
at least in
'cause
football.
It's like, it's like if you want to go play for play in the Pac-12 or whatever. Oh, Pac-12 dead now. But
Rip.
it's like you want to go play for West Coast. Yeah, West Coast school. It's like you're gonna crush on the West Coast for your
Mhm.
entire career. So come play Duke, come play North Carolina. You're gonna be on TV all the time.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but yeah, no. Syracuse Georgetown. It's very disappointing to watch. I don't even think Georgetown hasn't been good. We really haven't been good. It's just like it's very depressing to watch, and I don't know like where to go from here. I think it might be time to just like
No,
just end this rivalry. I
Don't-
guess.
don't say it, Pat.
It-
Don't give up.
It might
Hang on
It might
forever.
be time to take it behind the shed.
I think there's a lot of different reasons why the rivalry kind of dies out a little bit. You know,
Mhm.
like you said, they're both bad. The conference split, and like maybe it's just not regional enough for people to care. Because, like for example, like Florida State or
Yeah.
Oregon State, like these massive
Duke,
rivalries people
UNC.
talk about. Yeah, they're just so close to each
Yeah.
other too, regardless of anything. It troubles me because even I remember in college, ESPN released like biggest rivalries in sports.
Yeah.
Forget college, anything.
I remember this.
And
Yeah.
Georgetown SU was like 28th or something. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell are we talking
I
about?
agree. I was
Like,
like,
it's
this
crazy.
is way too low.
It was barely on the list. And it's like, you're right. People just gave up on it
Mhm.
and they're trying to let it die. And it just shouldn't. It's almost like it's the only one of its kind. I can't
It
think
is.
of another big rivalry outside of like, even like at the NFL level, thinking like Patriots Steelers, like the
Yeah.
game on Thursday, where
Mhm.
like you have some history, whatever, but like it's not the same.
It's
a
different in
40
college.
Yeah.
College rivalries, in my opinion, are a lot better than pro rivalries. The only
Yes.
one that came
Yeah.
close, was prime Red Sox Yankees.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
when
Mid-2000s.
in the mid 2000s, when those two teams really hated each other, that was the only thing that came close, in my opinion, to being a college rivalry. But you look at the Iron Bowl. I mean, the
Yeah.
Iron Bowl's one of the best games of the year every single year. Those teams hate each
Well,
other.
it's a-
Another one I throw
Yeah.
out there, and I've mentioned on the show before, I think Cincinnati Xavier is a
Oh, yeah.
great basketball
That's
rivalry.
a good one too.
They're-
Yeah, that's
Tho-
a good one too.
That's one of the best games of the year every single year. Those two teams
Yeah.
hate each other. And that's what a good rivalry is. And that's the thing, when Ewing was the coach at Georgetown, there was still that spark.
Yep.
It's Boeheim versus Ewing again. It's Ewing's the
Yeah.
guy that Boeheim could never get past in the 80s.
Mhm.
For 4 years, Georgetown would just take us to the woodshed every year because of Patrick Ewing. And Boeheim still was trying to get past Ewing. And when he beat him, it felt great. With Ed Cooley, like I said earlier, why does he care about this?
Right.
And that's
Right.
also why I like JT3. I mean, he wasn't the best coach Georgetown ever had, but it was another Thompson. It's like, oh no,
Yep.
John Thompson is coaching Georgetown again. What are we doing? Why?
Yep.
There should be a connection to that history, and thankfully Syracuse still has that in Red. I mean, Red hates Georgetown.
Yep.
And
McNamara hates him.
McNamara hates Georgetown, so that's great that SU still has the guys on the staff. But from Georgetown's point of view, it just doesn't have the same.
This is where I say Georgetown can take the blame on this, even
Yeah.
as a fan. Like I feel like it's an identity problem for them because
Mhm.
it should be the biggest game of the year. It's my
Yeah.
biggest game of the year as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even heard like talks about it all week. Like
I
I
haven't
want
either.
Ed Cooley coming out
Yeah.
and being like, "This is our game. We got to make a statement. I hate Syracuse." That's what I want to hear. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
hear this stuff. But then, even like I said last year, we went to that game and it's just like, and maybe it's because the game was a blowout. It was.
Yeah,
it was
it-
never a game.
No, it was
10 minutes into that game, the
terrible
game. Was
game.
over.
Yeah.
But I don't know what
I mean,
it is.
well, the other thing is like Syracuse are like kind of traitors. It's like you were the one that left the Big East and blew this all up. And it's
Agreed.
Like, why should we care about this anymore? And it's like, yeah, there's a ton of history here, but it's like neither of these teams have been very competitive the last couple of years. Yeah, Syracuse made a tournament here and there. Georgetown hasn't made the tournament in a very long time.
3 years.
It's 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, 3 years.
They won the Big East tournament.
Yeah.
On a
Was that
miracle.
2020
I think so. Yes.
when they didn't? Well, so they didn't play in the tournament.
No. Oh, so it was
No, it was
21 then.
Yeah,
Or
it was either 19. I think it was 19.
19.
So 4 years
Oh,
ago, yeah.
okay.
They
I
they
mean,
were like
regardless-
5 games below 500 and somehow won the Big East tournament. I'll never understand
It was
it.
a miracle.
They've had some bad teams the last couple of years. And
Yes.
like, do you even name like one? Do you even name like a notable player from any of those Georgetown teams, except for maybe Mac McClung?
Jesus, Mac McClung. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's the best.
Yeah,
Well,
he
dunk
was
champion.
in
That
transfer.
was the but he was the social media,
Yeah.
wonderkind. It was that's the reason he was
He
notable.
played in the NBA a little bit.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's why people know who Mac McClung is because he was an Instagram
Yeah.
baller. Like that
And
was the
even
thing.
he left.
For sure.
There was the one big guy at Georgetown. I can't think of his name.
Roy Hibbert.
Yeah, the big fella, 55.
No,
Roy
Pat.
Hibbert.
It was Pat Ewing. I was thinking of Pat Ewing. No,
Yeah. Patrick
recent like
Ewing, Greg
like
Monroe.
2 years ago, they had a big
Dude,
guy who
yeah,
I thought
let's
was
have a
pretty
guy
good,
off,
and I
dude.
can't think of his name.
No one that's been notable to get drafted really. In the last
No,
5.
but I thought he was a decent college player.
I mean, yeah, the kid. Are you talking about the kid that transferred to Maryland and then came back?
yes, yeah.
I forget his name, but yes, he was good. He averaged like a double.
Yeah.
he was pretty.
He
Solid,
was pretty
yes.
good. I thought he was like the best player they had in a little while.
Yep.
But all right, Pat.
Yeah.
Since we're going a little overtime here, thoughts on the Army Navy game, and then we got to get you out.
Okay, well, Army wins. I think the line's still 2.5. You got to bet the under so the wheels fall off.
Yep.
They both can kind of score points this year, but it is what it is. It's like betting Iowa. It's like you got to keep taking the under till it doesn't hit anymore.
Yep.
But since we're going overtime, bottom line, we love the troops. Let's bring them home, dude.
Of course, Pat.
Bring them home, dude.
Thanks for calling in. Love you, buddy. Have a good one. All right.
Later. See ya.
There he is, my good friend Pat. We are very much over time. We've got to take a break. Come back. We will talk about the Army Navy game. Tom from the Valley's been texting me, and he's like, "Wait, you got Pat on before me? Come on, what are we doing here? There's a little sibling rivalry going on." So we'll come back, and during the break, I'm sure Tom will be calling. We'll be right back here on Outside the Box Score, your home for local sports in Syracuse.
Apex Entertainment in the Canyon section of Destiny USA welcomes you to come in and enjoy 55,000 square feet of pure
Jim asked, which team does Syracuse play where there's back and forth juice other than Georgetown? My hot take is Pitt.
Was Duke for a little bit.
But they didn't care about us.
For a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah,
Instantly, it was.
we
Duke.
cared about Duke because it was Boeheim, Coach K, the two friends, but we cared about Duke. Duke never cared about us.
Same with UNC. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just bottom feeders in their mind.
Yeah, I think it's the teams like Louisville and Pitt and Boston College that were in the Big East and joined the ACC with us. Those are the ones that still have a little fire.
I just thought about a conference rival or a non-conference rivalry, but it's regional again, like Creighton, Nebraska. Massive game.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like the Cincy Xavier one, but it's just regional. Like there's no example of a non-regional
all
rivalry
regional.
outside of conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's not conference league.
Mhm.
It sucks. This was the one, and it should be. I don't know.
Yeah, it was the best one.
Syracuse does their job. That's the only thing I can applaud Syracuse for. They truly hate Georgetown, and I do appreciate that.
I'm like if people think I'm playing it up, I hate Georgetown.
Yeah.
I'm
As you should.
yeah.
I'm just tearing them down from the inside. I've told you that.
Yeah.
That's why I had to go there, and I will get into the unit. I will.
I gotta send Tom the number every single time he wants to call.
Isn't it
Save
in
the
the
number.
text thread? That's
Yeah.
probably just in the thread.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you text Tom.
Eh.
Pretty often.
Often enough. Yeah, it's somewhere in there, I think. Outside the box score, Tommy. All right, I'll throw you on hold. Bring you on after the break. All right.
Wahab. Wahab was his name.
Wahab, yes.
Cutest Wahab. Dead.
For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace, that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Going right back to the phone lines. We've got Tom from the Valley calling in, but Tom, I understand you're not calling from the Valley today, are you?
I'm calling from lot 52 at Gillette Stadium for the Army-Navy football game.
All right, so is this your first time going to America's game?
This is my first time at America's game. New England had to come, show out.
I understand you're there with your brother as well. I understand you're there with Connor, who's been a guest on the show.
Yes, he has. We are enjoying the awesome tailgate that the Johnny Mac Foundation has put on.
Very
and
nice.
It is about 58 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. It is a gorgeous day.
A beautiful day in Foxborough. 58 and
Beautiful
sunny.
day in Foxborough.
Oh, God, we love it. Good weather for America. It's always good weather for America's game.
Last year it was raining, so I've heard.
That's right. It was raining last year, but it seems like most of the time it's always a sunny day. You know, it might be a little chilly, as you know, that happens in December in New England.
It happens in December. You're sure right.
But usually seems like good weather. So I'm glad we've got good weather. So that means maybe not that under. I don't know. These teams could be airing it out. Lord knows both these teams love to throw the football.
I gotta tell you, 27 and a half, they're going to go way over today.
Oh, you're taking the over, Tom. Your brother just called in and said you got to hammer the under. You're taking the over.
I'm taking the over. It's a gorgeous day. It's, you know, for a lot of the seniors, it's their last time on a football field.
Yep.
They are going to show out here in Foxborough.
That's the narrative every year. It's for a lot of the for the seniors, it's their last time on the football field. That's the narrative every single year of the Army-Navy game.
Better than the battlefield.
Because
exactly.
I mean, these guys are going into active service after
we
this.
can enjoy the beautiful tailgate in the parking lot.
Now, Tommy, don't tell me that there are beverages being consumed at this tailgate. I wouldn't believe it.
I wish. The only thing I wish was if they had Myers Creek. They do not have Myers Creek, but they have a lot of other beers.
This is why I like you, Tom. Even the callers are talking about how great the beer is over at Myers Creek. We're going to talk about them in a little bit.
I had a nice velvet fog right now.
I love the fog, Tom.
We love the fog, Tommy. All right, so you texted me. You said you got some tips for the game. You're taking the over, which is I don't know. I don't know if I can tell you on that, Tom, just because. And your brother said it. It's just like Iowa unders for me. I just have to take it until it doesn't hit. I hit the Iowa under when it was 24.5. I hit the under on that.
That's your prerogative. But these are brave men and women.
That is true.
I gotta take the over.
I don't think there's a lot of women on the field today, Tom.
None.
Well,
nary a woman to be seen on the football field today, Tom. But so what else? What else do you like? Where are you leaning?
Oh, Army.
Army
is gonna win the football game.
I agree.
Gonna win the football game. They're on a roll. The Army fans are some of the friendliest people you ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
I spent way too much money on an Army corner tip yesterday.
Love it.
So I've got to roll with Army.
So you're not in stolen valor full suit, full dress.
Oh,
you're not in the dress blues, Tom?
No, my eBay dress loose did not get here in time.
Ah, damn. Tommy, anything else on your mind there, bud?
No, I think that's it. It's a beautiful day in Foxborough, and go Army.
Go Army, beat Navy. That's what we say.
Go Army, beat Navy. You're sure right.
Tom, thanks for calling in. Enjoy the game, buddy. I'm really happy for you that you're able to go to this. I think that's great. I hope you and Connor have a great time and enjoy your weekend. All right, pal?
Connor the Sharp wants everybody to know Army money line in the over.
Army, that's coming from Connor the Sharp as well. So both of them on the over. Thanks for calling in, buddy. All right, have a good weekend.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
There he is, Tom from the Valley, not calling from the Valley, calling from Lot 52 at Gillette Stadium out there in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The over. I can't believe they're taking the over. I mean, 27.5 is an incredibly low number.
I think it's the lowest even for them in the wild.
Yeah, it is. Usually it's around 30.
Yeah.
Usually the number is at around 30. Another timeout. Be back in just a minute here on Outside the Box Score here on the Score 1260.
We're buying whatever you're selling at the DV Vehicle Buying Center. Just drive into the buying center, get a fast, generous appraisal, turn that car into cash. The Buying Center at Drivers Village. See why at selltodv.com.
It's always a great day to visit the most, where you can discover, learn, and play all season long.
Yeah, we got waiting on hold. We've got Connor from Boston. He does live in Boston now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, he got a job out there in Boston. And
got a job?
Yeah.
What is he, some kind of rich man?
I know. Yeah, Mr. Moneybags over here with a job.
He got a freaking job.
I wonder if is the Twitch chat still not working?
Bright futures begin with a great story. This holiday season, give a new book to a child in need with Children's Book Drive. In downtown Syracuse or Golden Bee Bookstore in the village of Liverpool. And visit unitedway-cny.org for more ways to get involved. A United Way of Friendly New York initiative.
United, we do more.
Looking for the perfect gift
Bang.
for curious
It's over.
kids in your life?
It's over.
The game has started. Georgetown has a 2-0 lead.
My streaming with tip just came off. I'm 30 seconds.
Weekly prop, Mark Rowlands plus 4.5 for Chris Bell, rebounds and assists. Take it. I'm taking the plus 4.5. I don't know. I think I'm still okay. I am still live. All right, cool.
We're still live.
It's just Twitch was acting up for me. It was weird.
It's gonna be a real battle of the guards today. I think that's the best part of both teams is the guard play. So
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, I meant to delete this ad. Okay.
Fan out. Let me see the arena.
2-2. Game. It's over.
Gonna be pretty quiet in the breaks here, folks.
Yeah, we're just gonna be watching the game.
Just watching Georgetown and SU.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Going back to the phone lines, we've got Connor from Boston calling in. Connor, how we doing, buddy?
listener or first time caller?
I mean, it's not entirely true, but you're not a first time call. You've called
This
before.
Boston character, though, I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
caller.
Connor from Boston, it is your first time calling. That is true.
First time caller from Boston. I just want to so I'm calling live just like the last caller, live from Foxborough.
Mm-hmm.
Army Navy game. I just want to sit out and say God bless our troops and God bless the United States of America.
I agree. Thank you,
yes.
Connor.
With that being said, our Army money line and over 27.5 is the play today. With a country on the line, I'm calling live. I can see the vibe of everybody here. It's inspiring. There's a good chance I may enlist in the Army after this game. Granted, especially if Army money line and over 27.5 doesn't hit, I will be enlisting.
Do they have recruiters in the lot?
They have to, right? There have to be recruiters everywhere.
You know what? No, there has to be. I haven't seen any firsthand because I'm too focused on, just enjoying the environment. But I'm sure in the stadium, I'm going to be I'm going to be highly sought after.
Oh, I'm saying a young man,
Top prospect.
good build.
Man.
Yeah. I'm sure you were exactly what the Army is looking for.
No, yeah, I'm kind of a picture perfect Army guy.
Rumor has it you have a job though, so they're not targeting you.
Oh,
they're
that's
looking
true.
For the
Yeah,
real...
rumor has it I love this country more than I love my job, so I can be sweet. But that's it on my end, and go Army, and I'll report back next week.
All right, thank you, Connor. Thanks for calling in. Enjoy the game. All right, buddy.
All right, bye.
There he is, Connor from Boston, chiming in really quick. I might enlist. Killed me.
I love my country more than I love
my job.
You know what? I've said it for a long time. You play FDR's speech before we declare war in World War II.
Yep.
I'll join the Army. That speech.
That's all it takes.
I could run through a brick wall after hearing that speech.
Well, Franklin Delano. That's
dude.
what gets you going.
The day that will live in infamy. It's so funny. I brought this up the other day, and this guy at work was like, he actually changed the speech, and I was like, yeah, no, I know that. He was like, because it was supposed to be a day unpopular. I'm like, he changed it, and I was like, yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty much common knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's pretty big. Yeah.
Hey, you read a book about presidents.
I did. I love that book. FDR, not a great guy. Well, it turns out a lot of presidents, not great guys.
Yeah, as it would turn out.
But boy, Eleanor really had a mouth on her.
All righty. Just going to skip right past that one. SU Georgetown has gotten underway, by the way. Syracuse currently an 11-9 lead, which means I don't know if anyone's listening to this anymore because the SU game is on now. If you are still listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around.
Sure.
As you know, we mentioned big day in sports with the SU Georgetown game going on. Jim points out, yes, and I agree. Naheem McLeod did not get much run before getting subbed out. He's seen his minutes start to decline, and I think it's because he is very slow.
He's a tall guy, right?
Yeah, he's
a big tall guy.
Yeah, he's 7'4". But he is incredibly slow on the basketball court, which will happen when you're that big. He's a big boy, as SU just missed a bucket there, but
one of the worst passes I've ever seen in a game.
That was terrible.
We got to talk about something else. I'm just going to talk about the game.
Yeah, exactly. We do have to talk about something else. We will actually we'll stick with Syracuse athletics.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the football team for a second because Fran Brown and his boys are getting to work.
I mean, how fast? They lose that SEC championship game. He's like, I'm out. Georgia stinks.
Yeah.
I'm done.
He's
gone.
He's the coach of SU. Nunzio is still going to coach the bowl game, I believe.
Okay.
But he is now the head coach of Syracuse football. He has immediately stepped in, started taking over, and started every day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing tweets from shout out Mike McAllister, who if you don't follow him on social media, you absolutely should. But does Syracuse on SI over there. He is on top of all this recruiting news and always has been, but it's every day. I'm checking Mike McAllister's Twitter, and it's another 4-star got an offer. Another 4-star is going to visit this weekend. Another 4-star. I've never seen Syracuse football even have conversations with this many 4-star recruits, let alone offers. And these guys are posting Syracuse on social media, and there's I'm seeing national college football accounts tweeting about Syracuse.
They've got like 12 4-star recruits on campus today.
Yeah.
And a 5-star.
And a 5-star.
Who's the 11th rated prospect in the country.
Yeah. That's who I want to talk about. His name is KJ Bolden.
Mhm.
He is from Buford, Georgia.
Georgia? How did he get up here?
Wait a minute. How does Syracuse have any connections in the state of Georgia? So he's from Georgia. Consensus 5-star. Like you said, rated as highly as 11th based on what site you go to. So he's a top 15, pretty much consensus prospect. 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, safety. Wait a minute. How are we getting defensive backs? I don't know how that happened. When was the last time Syracuse had a 5-star on campus for football? We've had a couple for basketball.
Dwight Freeney? Was he a 5-star?
Seriously, it might be going back. Donovan McNabb?
Marvin Harrison?
Marvin Harrison? We might be going back that far. And listen, I know. They're just offers. It's just visits. None of these kids are committed to go to Syracuse yet. I understand that. But the fact that Syracuse is in the national football conversation
so quickly.
He
takes over within a week.
We
got
were
12 guys.
a joke a month ago.
Yeah.
We couldn't beat a high school team a month ago.
You couldn't pass the ball.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even compete with Army and Navy.
Yeah, our tight end was our leading passer 3 times.
Now you've got a 4-star recruit from quarterback, a transfer from Buffalo visiting today.
Yep. It's unreal. I am so excited. I'm excited as a Syracuse football fan again.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe it.
And they're getting the treatment, too. I mean, you hear these things, big lunch at the Dome or whatever. They're pulling out Dino Barbecue. You got the hibachi dinners, driving around in Escalades. I mean, they're giving them.
Yeah.
It's the prime treatment.
That's how you know things have changed, too. Because this is just something I was thinking of. And so Adam Weitzman, obviously no longer really associated with Syracuse, but was at one time a big booster.
Yep.
And whenever these big time recruits would come in, Adam Weitzman owns multiple restaurants. So they would always just bring him to one of his, bring him to his place out in Skinny Atlas or, wherever. And this is what you should bring him to Dinosaur.
Yep.
Bring him to, the places that, and as good as I'm sure they're good. I've never been to one of Weitzman's restaurants, but I'm positive they're good because they're all popular and they're, all quite expensive and fancy places. I'm sure they're great. But that's not Syracuse.
No.
Syracuse food is Dino. It's Tully's. It's Postabilities. These are the places you should bring these recruits. Like, make them feel like this is our town. This is what Syracuse is.
Yeah, don't oversell it. You're not going to be going to these places. I mean, Weissman's probably letting them go to these or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But also, it's just you have an actual guy who's a recruiter at these best places. He knows what that looks like.
Yeah.
And he can replicate that. Adam Weissman, he's just recruiting, millionaires to go off on another project with him. It's a different level of, trust you have to build and whatever that Fran Brown knows how to do.
Yeah.
And it's already happening. It's crazy how fast this is happening. In basketball right now, we both got new coaches this year. We're both talking about, well, give them some time in the transfer portal, this and that. It turns out you don't need time. It happens in a week. Reds should be fired. Get rid of them.
My longtime take of you need to give college basketball or college coaches at least 3 years. Gone. It's out the window with Fran Brown. He's just doing it all in a week.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing. See this. Syracuse hasn't been this much in the national conversation. And I know in 2018 they won 10 games. They were a top 15 team.
Sure.
People were talking about Syracuse. Eric Dungy was this sort of phenomenon, and it was weird because he was never that good, and then all of a sudden he goes on this magical run. It was, it was nice. They were in the conversation then, but we haven't been in the conversation like this really since the days of Dwight Freeney or Marvin Harrison, Donovan McNabb.
Even 2 years ago,
it's been that long
when they were rated in top 14. Then they get up to 14.
Last year.
Yeah. It was last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. Even that, it didn't feel the same, but it was kind of like, well, our defense is really good, but we're not going to compete with Alabama or anyone.
Exactly.
I'm not saying now you think that, but you're legitimately thinking maybe we can win the ACC.
The thing is, maybe we won't compete with an Alabama or a Georgia or anything like that. What I care about is competing with them for recruits.
Yep.
If we can even be in the same conversation for these kids as in Alabama or Georgia, like some of these kids are, some of the transfers that are considering coming here, they're coming from A&M. They're coming from Georgia. They're big-time SEC schools that are considering Syracuse.
What I think helps too is the fact that they can come here and play. Because like some of those schools, like they sit for like 3-4 years. Some of them never get on the field, and they're 5-star recruits.
Exactly. It's the whole. Do you want to be a big fish in a small pond, or a medium-sized fish in a medium-sized pond? These guys, these 5 stars, they go to Alabama or Georgia. They're a big fish in a really big pond, and there's going to be bigger fish, and sometimes you're going to get eaten by those fish. You come to Syracuse, you're a big fish in a really small pond compared to Alabama.
Shark.
You are a shark in a tank. You are a shark in a 10-gallon tank. And
I don't think it could live. I'm kidding. How big is a shark?
How the hell does he fit a shark in a 10-gallon tank?
How big is this shark?
What kind of logic is this guy doing? But if you're KJ Bolden, you're a 5-star recruit coming here for a visit.
Even thinking about it.
Thinking about it.
A great step for the program.
Yeah, it's a fantastic step. And I don't need KJ Bolden to sign here. Would it be great? Absolutely. I will take as many 5-star recruits as you're going to give me. Absolutely. Just to consider it. And we're seeing it more and more now. The number 2 college basketball recruit in the country just committed to Rutgers. Like, we are seeing it.
Yep.
That these 5 stars are willing to go to smaller, lesser-known schools. Like, Rutgers, as great of a school as it may be, and, they've had their days with their basketball program.
Sure. Stinky.
It's Rutgers.
Yeah.
Number 2, you tell me the number 2 basketball recruit in the country is going to the Big Ten. It's like, oh, he's going to Iowa. He's going to Michigan. He's good. I would probably say Michigan. He's going to Michigan to play under Juwan Howard. Nope. He's going to a little school in New Jersey. It's actually happening.
Well, he'll transfer out in a year, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. He's
either going to get drafted or he's going to end up at Alabama or something. But
that's what happens in college basketball.
Yeah.
That's a whole different bag of worms.
But it's just, I love the hype around Syracuse football right now. It's national hype. See, that account on Twitter, it's CFB Talk Daily, I think. It's like one of the bigger college football accounts on Twitter.
Yep.
They've had like 20 tweets about Syracuse in the past week. They're like all in on Fran Brown and the Cuse. People are talking, and it's a great, great feeling. Got to take a time out. Come back in just a minute here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260.
If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floatin' on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek.
They heard the Mattress Express commercials for months. They wanted to come in, but they kept putting it off. Justin and Amy finally came into our Western Lights store in the Price Chopper Plaza, and they tried the Q9.
I'm a trash man. I don't care. She's like, no, I need to wash it.
Jim says, and obviously, in the discussion is good, signing is still kind of important.
Yes.
For sure. But we'll get to the point where we can sign these guys if we start in the conversation.
What are the odds? What are the odds you get 0 of the
Yeah,
12?
what are the odds? We're linked to, like, it's even more than just the kids visiting. Like, we're linked to, like, 24-star recruits right now.
You like stats, Jim? I think there's a decent chance he at least get 1 or 2.
Just one. Like, even just getting one of them is fine with me because it means we can do it.
Yep.
It means that Syracuse is in a place that they haven't been in a long time.
Does it worry you at all that it's just defensive stuff at this point for the most part? There's like 1 wide receiver and 2 QBs.
I mean,
like, does it matter if your offense is still mediocre next year?
Be Iowa. I don't care. Like, you can be Iowa, and that's fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm cool with that, too.
Yeah,
I was just wondering.
You win 9 games. You win 9 games. I don't care if every score is 13-10. I love Iowa football. I think it's hilarious.
Okay. I err with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I'm just, I don't want it to then lose because he hasn't named an OC yet, right?
Not yet, no. Not that I've seen.
No, the DC from A&M was huge.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
We haven't even talked about it yet. The CBA won state championship.
Did you see that weird one? I don't think it was in New York. I think it was like Virginia or something, where it was a class section state championship or whatever, and they had to stop playing in the last 4 minutes. Like the last 4 minutes, they
No, I
just
didn't
walked
see
off. The
that.
refs walked off the field because it was getting so chippy. Like
Wow.
apparently it was a private school and a public school, and the private school was getting their ass kicked, and they just started throwing hands on every play, and the refs just walked off. They were like, "The game's over." It was like 3 touchdown difference or whatever at that point already. So they're like,
Wow.
"Yeah, the game's over. We're done." Quick timeout right after the 4 minutes. That's great. I think that was Cooley. Thanks, buddy.
Oh my God. I'm just looking at the box score from the state championship. Whew.
They cream them.
It was 31-14, but
Oh, okay.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Quickly want to talk about the state football championship. Haven't talked about it yet. CBA, Christian Brothers Academy, won states. Class A state champions, Christian Brothers Academy. They beat Carmel, which is a school apparently
in New York. Somewhere.
It's apparently a new high school located in New York.
Great pull there, Marky.
Matt Porter, the quarterback for Christian Brothers Academy, 17 of 31, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Gotta love a high school team that's throwing the ball.
Just airing it out. And he did a lot of it to not Sire Torrance, who's a very high recruit coming out of CBA. Did a lot of it to Darian Williams, wide receiver. 7 catches, 236 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Wow. That's Madden right there.
That's
some Madden stats.
Exactly. Those are the numbers I put up in Madden when I make a wide receiver. That's unreal. 236 yards, 3 scores in the state championship game. This kid has never played a bigger game in his life leading up to this, and he showed out. So congrats to the brothers. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. They made a great run. They went 14-0 this year, never lost a game, and ended up beating, like I said, apparently a school in New York, Carmel, for the state championship, for the state football championship. Also, quickly want to talk about our friends. They were mentioned earlier during a call.
Yeah.
At Myers Creek Brewing Company. 16 craft beers on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. But you look like you have a question,
Mark,
Josh.
I don't know. I love a brewery, but can I eat there? Is there any food options?
Can you eat there? Come on. Wings that have won awards here in Central New York.
Really?
It's some of the best wings you will ever eat. They're pickle spice wing. Won best wing at Syracuse. Does a wing fest every single year. Yeah. And there's a lot of good wings around here. I'm not going to doubt that. There's a lot of good chicken wings in Syracuse. I'd be hard pressed to find any that are better than the wings at Myers Creek. Their pizza's fantastic. My personal favorite on the menu is the beef on weck. They have a delicious beef on weck. Just had one last week. And last night I was drinking the Velvet Fog. I wasn't at a Myers Creek location, but whenever I see Myers Creek beer on tap at a bar, I have to get it. It's the best beer in the world. So last night I was drinking a 22-ounce Velvet Fog, and let me tell you, it was delicious.
Rocked your world.
It really did. Fantastic beers, fantastic food, fantastic locations.
Oh, yeah.
But the Inner Harbor is great, but that Cazenovia place. Today's a great day to go to the Cazenovia location.
Great weather out today.
Great weather today. You can sit outside.
One of those cozy fire pits.
Yeah, sit by. They have great fire pits out there. So you sit by the fire, enjoy an ice cold beer, get some food, just take in the ambiance.
Maybe you're lucky enough to hear some live music there today.
I should check. We're about to take a break. I will check during the break, and I will update you on all the happenings at Myers Creek Cazenovia. We'll be right back here on Outside the Box Score, presented by our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company.
For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
It's not. Why are they so bad as a team?
Yeah.
They have 2 wins with like Cade, Ivy, Wiseman. Why? He's like, how does this happen?
I don't get
Is
it.
it the coaching? Is the coaching that bad? Dwayne Casey? I mean, is
Yeah,
he that
I like
bad?
Dwayne Casey.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. We were talking like he's like they won't win 10. He's like
Probably
whatever
not.
the win total was this year was far too high. It's probably low teens.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think it was higher than that. I want to say it was like 22
Really?
was their total. Yeah.
I think because people thought Cade Cunningham was gonna
Take the jump.
develop. And
Is he good?
Jaden,
He can score. I think.
Cade Cunningham is the Mike Zunino of basketball. No one knows if he's good.
he was supposed to be so good, and then he like hasn't really. He's been okay.
He's fine. I don't think he's bad.
I think
but is he
his
good?
like his best case comp at this point is like a Bradley Beal in some sense, where he's like just a really good pure scorer. I think. I don't think he's like a Halliburton like dish.
So they
And
tried to
Yeah.
make him a point guard.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I think that's what's the problem.
He's not. He's a 2 guard. Tyrese Halliburton is so good.
Oh yeah, Dame. People are trying to like make him a bad guy after he did the Dame time sell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even Dame was like, yeah, I mean, talk your shit or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
respect, whatever, humble yourself. It's like, calm down. You played like trash. Dame was
Yeah.
terrible in that
You
game.
waved that so much.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that? OKC?
Yeah, the KD shot, right? The main one.
hmm
Like, you get it.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. He's balling out.
He is so good at basketball.
He's easily like they were talking. He's probably the second most exciting player to play with this year. Like if you
Yeah.
were like picking who you want to play with, it's like Jokic probably,
Mhm.
and then Halliburton.
Yeah. And we're back, wrapping up another fun-filled hour here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse. Syracuse currently has a 22-19 lead over the Georgetown Hoyas. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first half. Did want to mention, Josh, no live music today at Myers Creek,
Okay.
but tomorrow they
Ooh.
do have live music. 12 to 3. Taproom sets is what they call them. Ben and Sarah going to be performing. I've seen Ben and Sarah before. They're very good. But they also have a great event tomorrow in Cazenovia.
What do we got?
From 11 a.m. to, or 11, it starts at 11, but the big show starts at 11:30 to 1 p.m.
They got the big show.
No, but they got the big guy. They got the big guy. Wears a lot of red. He's got a big white beard. Santa. They got brunch with Santa in Myers Creek, Cazenovia tomorrow. 11:30 to 1 is when the jolly old elf is going to be there. But they do have brunch available from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So maybe some mimosas thrown in there.
Bring the kids down.
I know they do a beer mosa in Myers Creek with some velvet fog. And oh baby, a little velvet fog, a little OJ.
What a great
Delicious.
event to have at the brewery. You normally go to the brewery, you find someone to hold on to the kids for you for a
Mhm.
couple hours. Bring them with you this time.
Exactly.
Make your wife only have a couple, and you just have a day.
Have a day.
They go up see Santa 4 or 5 times. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, they're gonna give them their whole list
Yeah.
multiple times,
They got a frisbee.
and they're gonna sit there and wait for him to check it twice.
They got a frisbee golf course. Let's have them roam around. Do your
Exactly.
thing.
They'll be fine. Go to Myers Creek, Cazenovia tomorrow, December 10th. See Ben and Sarah. See Santa. It's going to be an absolutely great time out there in Cazenovia. Do want to thank all of you for listening. Do want to thank Pat, Tommy, Connor, the entire Burke clan for calling in today. We were just missing Big Tom and Janet, the 2 parents, and it would have been the entire Burke family. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to all of you, Jim and Chat, everyone who listens to the show. Braylon, Josh, thank you for being here. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel, 11 a.m. right here on the Score 1260. See you then, and peace.